Hey, Soraya, how's it
Hey,
going? It's been a
hey, Jeff.
long time, a long time.
It's been a minute, but
Yes,
good
it
to
has.
see you. And Jeff, today's a good day.
Today is a very good day.
Oh my gosh. You want to tell people what we're going to be doing today?
We are going to be talking about new release from
Yes.
one of the Paisley Underground bands, The Rain Parades, The Last Rays of a Dying Sun. And yep, I did say that. I did say that there's a new release from Rain Parade. I'm sure all of our listeners probably already have it and have listened to it for the last month or two. But it's now available on CD as you showed. So available on vinyl, CD, and um streaming and digitally. But
And
we
Jeff,
are, yep,
and coming to a city near you.
yes, upcoming tour both on the West Coast, US, and Europe.
Oh yeah. So if you don't already, please follow them on social media, Facebook, Instagram, even Twitter. I refuse to call it X. But they are going to be on tour in 2024, and the time is now.
Yes, the
I'm
time
excited.
is now. So we're going to be talking to Matt Piucci and Stephen Roback of Rain Parade, talking about this new album.
Well,
I'm ready to get into it.
let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy.
Okay, recording in progress. Got you. So no Ronnie, I guess. Oh, nice.
No, Ronnie. But we are here to talk about these. Yeah.
Oh,
You got the
Well,
CD.
Jeff,
I
wait,
don't
wait,
even
wait,
have
wait,
one of
wait.
those.
Let's add this beauty.
I like
Just
that color.
because it's blue.
Down that street.
Gorgeous.
Just
Yeah.
like people you might meet.
Woo!
So, Soraya, what are we doing today?
What else? Talking about this awesome album with Stephen Roback and Matt Piucci of Rain Parade.
Yes.
Guys.
Hey guys,
Last Rays of a Dying Sun.
Thank you guys for coming back.
You bet.
sure. Thanks for having us.
Or did Jeffrey get more verbiage than Soraya? Sorry about that.
It's,
Yeah.
that's all right.
I recognize some
We
of
don't
those
compete.
Looked up
scribblings.
that nice picture by Emily.
Yes, we wanted to talk
Beautiful.
about that. That's a good starting point. Can we talk about where this cover came from?
Sure. Emily Wick is a buddy of ours that she lives in Oakland with her significant other. They're not really married, but they might as well be. Brian Brooks. He used to do. It's not Hello Kitty. It's one of them. Their things. What's
Oh,
the name of that one he does? The graphic novel. Anyway, doesn't matter. He's an artist. She's an artist, and you should check out her social media pages. There's like a ton of these bubble pictures.
Yeah, she has a
that
whole
one is-
series of bubble photos taken in with different lighting and different imagery.
It's mostly just at night. I think most of those colors just come from inside the bubble. I don't know how she does it exactly,
Yeah,
but they're great.
some of it picks up the background, but I think she uses flash on some of them not. But they're great. Yeah, they're really interesting.
so they're actual photographs?
Yeah, that one is a little different than most of them. I don't know. Most of the ones she has are like at night,
Okay.
or in a black studio. I think. No, we haven't. If you've seen on Spotify the singles that we released, there's another two pictures that are hers. One with sort of like looking out at a roof, and there's a bubble up there in the sky. And the
Bubble
other
it
one's
like
Angel's
twilight floating over a house.
Yeah.
It's released with our the digital single of Last Race of Dying Sun.
I don't know if I can show you those. Maybe.
Then we have another one that she took, which is similar to that one, that for Angel Sister for that single.
Nice. So, oh,
it's going to be impossible for you to see that because this is a.
Because you can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't. Oh, hang on. Damn it. Well, I'll keep trying. Hang on.
So was she commissioned to do these, or did you guys just like her
Well-
artwork and ask to use it for this?
We saw them. Let's see.
Yes and no.
Wait,
I got to get.
I can share my screen. Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Or- Okay, hang
Yeah,
on.
I mean, much more civilized way of doing it.
But
Awesome.
less psychedelic.
Yeah, totally. It kind of looks like an angel, that one. So
Oh.
she's a great artist, and she's a buddy. We like her. Really super nice person.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing. So maybe we'll we'll table that for now.
Anyway, yeah, look on Spotify.
It's cool. But imagine a bubble floating over a house in the dark.
Yeah, if you look at if you go to, I don't know if you guys are Spotifyers, but
A little bit.
anyway, well, check out Emily's pages. There's a ton of cool stuff. She's a great artist. So that's where we didn't commission. I guess we didn't ask her to do it. We saw that she'd done a bunch of these bubbles, and then we saw this one, the one of the album cover, which was different than the other ones. We just thought it was very sort of like 1971 Pink Floydian, and it's funny. We'll talk about this later. We're playing in Spain, and somebody reviewed the album, and the guy's like, "This album's great, but it's the worst album cover in the history of music."
Oh wow.
Okay, well, no, it isn't.
I guess he's not a fan of metal, right? The Pink Floyd album either. So, Steven, are you able to share at this point?
It says
think-
yes, I am. Just
I
it's
switched
not-
something.
Cool. Can you see
that
it?
one? Yeah, that's another Emily.
Oh yes.
This
Oh
is
my gosh, that's awesome.
digital single. And
Isn't the moon in the other one? No, whatever. It's fine.
And then wait, and then there's
The Angel
Angel-
Sister one.
Angel
Yeah.
Sister.
Oh my gosh.
Those are both by Emily Wick.
Yeah, and that's not treated at all. That's her photograph. And it's
Yeah.
just it's really
'Cause she's
evocative.
cool as hell.
So it seemed to work. And it was kind of keeping with the theme of the larger bubble. So,
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Anyway.
know what? She told me on the cover that orb. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I forgot what she said on the actual cover itself of the album. It isn't what you think it is. I thought it was the sun and it's not, or I thought it was the moon and it's not. But since I can't remember, never mind. Yes, that object in the lower right that looks like either the
sun.
sun or moon is not, which makes a lot of sense because it's clearly sunset and the sun wouldn't be there. I don't know what that is, but it's cool. We
Very cool.
really, really like that picture a lot. It's funny, we had another one that is like a blazingly bright, just close up of the orange sun. And when we were on tour, we were considering using the other one. And so we showed all the guys in Dream Syndicate. They're like, yeah, this sun one. Then Vicky Peterson looks at it. She goes, nah, that's too on the nose. That's too literal. She goes, this other one, the bubble. So
Huh?
she didn't decide for us, but that seems a little bit more distaff than the masculine one we didn't use.
Yeah, this one kind of slowly emerged as being kind of iconic in a way, if I may use that word.
It's
And it's really grown on me over
Yeah.
time.
I like it a
Yeah.
lot. I guess that is that Angel Island? Not really sure. In the San Francisco Bay. I'll have to ask her. But anyway, yeah.
No, I think that was on the East Coast, I think.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
somewhere.
whatever. Em's a great gal,
Anyway.
a great artist, and we're happy that we could use it.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing those, Steven.
Okay.
I thought
Sure.
for sure it was like an AI image or something. I didn't realize it was an actual
Oh, that's for real.
photograph.
Yeah,
Wow.
actual photograph.
Wow. All right, Soraya, we got past the cover.
Yes.
How about let's delve into there were some really interesting, not just sounds and songs, but you had some great guest performers, people who helped put this whole sound together. The Moore brothers, the Peterson sisters. Talk to us a little bit about how that experience was of bringing these people in. Was that just something that organically happened, or did you have people in mind?
Well, definitely had people in mind. We had places in the songs that kind of needed background vocals, and we wanted to have people that whose voices we knew were great involved in it. And it's really fun working with them all in the studio. Of course we know the Petersons. Speaking of Vicky Peterson, they came in and did backgrounds on Angel
The Patterson sisters.
Yes, referred to.
I'm sorry, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know. This is some stupid review of the Paisley Underground. They refer to them as the Patterson sisters.
That sounds like
Some
something I
child
would
wrote it who had no idea what they were talking about. Anyway,
Journalistic malpractice.
yeah.
But anyway, so we brought them in and they did the backgrounds of Angel Sister. Obviously, that song called for having these kind of angelic harmonies and backgrounds. And it was just really fun working with them in the studio. It is very organic because we were just bouncing ideas off each other. And
Well, yeah, and when we did the 3x4 stuff, those guys, gals, whatever, Vicky and Debbie came and sang. And they're just such pros and just the nicest people in the world. And it worked great. So they're like, well, why not? So they sang on Angel's Sister, which seemed logical, and they sung on Cherry Love, which also seemed weird. Debbie was super beat. She'd been traveling. We were almost trying to get them on another song, and they're like, "No, we're toast." But so it was great. And then the Moore brothers, we turn you guys onto them. They're just, I don't understand why they're not singing on every record that ever comes out. It's pretty funny. Jim Hill was really dubious about bringing other people in. We're at a studio here, and those guys show up, and he hands me a guitar, and I play for like 8 bars, and he goes, "Oh, okay, go on in, you guys." I mean, they were, and they sing the same one as Peterson sisters as well, and also on Green, which is pretty great, and also on Bring You Back. They did 3 songs, and that was great. And then the other
on Left the Fire, we had.
well, that's different people.
Yeah, there were more people.
Tell that story. No. Are you waiting for me to do it?
What's that?
Okay, well, Stefan's brother, his name is Marcus Blake, and he sort of like a zealot. He's like, I swear, he's taking a picture of every rock person in history. He kind of knew those guys, and then I sort of knew Darian Sahanaja, who is a musical genius and is responsible for Smile, the Smile that came about 10 or 15 years ago when Brian Wilson he'd been playing in that band, and I knew those guys from Nelson Bragg, who I met through Facebook and did a recording with him. But anyway, and Nelson's played with us one of our first shows when we went to Atlanta. He's played with us a little bit. But anyway, he knew these guys and he played with them, and I met them, but that was it, and learned that they were fans. And I'm like, freaking
they all played with Brian Wilson.
Correct. Darian and Rob Bonfiglio, who's married to one of Brian's daughters.
Barney Wilson.
I beg your pardon?
Garney Wilson.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yes.
And I'm like, hey, Darian, you want to sing on our stuff? He said, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. He's just a beast. And what he did was so great. He sort of directed it. I sang what I thought should go there. And they did that. He did that, and then a little bit more than that too. On like Left the Fire, if you're, as Derek C calls it, Amsterdam headphone guy, hashhead, he calls him, who like listens to psychedelic music after smoking hash and headphones. But the way he answers stuff back and forth on either side is at the end of that song is just super cool. Then he sang on Forgetfulness a little bit, and on Couldn't Stand to Be Alone. So there's so I mean, half those songs have other people on. Not that John and Derek a little bit, and Mark Hanley, they also sing, as does obviously Steven and I. I'm not really sure why we did that many. We just did. We didn't see the recording of anybody's other than the Petersons and the Moore brothers. We didn't. We weren't even there when Darian and those guys did it.
Yeah, Jim Hill sort of produced those vocals.
You went to Jim's place. I just sent him. I said, "Sing this," and they did, and made it better. But
And that's when Jim had his place in Los Angeles before he moved to Nashville.
that's correct.
Okay.
He's now in Nashville.
Okay.
Although he will be up here in a few weeks doing pre-production with us,
Nice.
which will be on the next thing.
Yeah, we'll want to talk about that in a bit.
Yes.
So, when did you guys start recording this? It's been years and years since an official Rain Parade release. We know that there's been some Viva Saturn releases, there's been the Helene's releases, but for Rain Parade, it's been quite a while since Crashing Dreams. So when did you actually start recording this? Was it a couple years ago?
When was the 3x4 stuff? That was 2018. Is that right?
2017.
Whatever.
But we started working on this after the 3x4, which I think came out in 2017, if my
Time flies, man. I don't know.
recollection is correct. But we started working on the material. We were psyched. We had a vague plan. We knew we had the material or some fragments of material that we could put together to create a full album. We had tons of material. But then the pandemic hit. And that was kind of a mixed blessing. Obviously it was bad, but on the good side is that we kind of had time to really focus and develop material.
I miss it.
What's that?
He
Not the
misses the
sickness,
pandemic.
but the quiet I miss.
Yeah. We didn't actually go in the studios. We had kind of almost a full LP of stuff. I think we had like 13 songs, and we went in and we decided to record them all. So we booked some studio time.
We're not doing that again.
No, we're not doing that again. I was 13 is too many at once. But we started tracking, I think, in 2021.
I can tell you
In fact,
exactly.
it was like Thanksgiving 2021, so just about 2 years ago.
Oh wow, okay.
Yes, because we ended up. Wait, today's December 1st. I think the last day was today.
Of those basic sessions.
Is it only 2 years ago?
It's exactly 2 years ago. So
Yeah, we finished the basics, and then overdubs take forever. We're slow.
And over the following year, we did overdubs, and
Build it all in.
Probably we're done within about 6 months, I think. Maybe even before that. The album kept getting pushed back, as you guys are well aware, because the label was kind of getting rolling. This is one of their first acts. They have a few more now.
Yeah.
I would say it was a really productive year and a half though of recording and songwriting, and it was really enjoyable to be arranging music again and recording it, be back in the studio.
Yeah, we got to really dig in. Once we had the basics, we didn't torture them too much. Some of them we tortured.
Some tortured
Jim
us.
did. Some songs really had to be whipped into shape, but we don't usually pursue. This is a Dan Stewartism, but don't worry about the problem children. Devote your time to the ones that matter, that are working. We didn't feel like we had any problem children. Some were harder than others, and we had to really kind of work on them. For instance, Sunday's Almost Gone went through several permutations to get to where it was today, and that's a super old song anyway.
Well, that's a song that evolved over time.
That was one that just kept rearing its head. We'd stuff it into the closet and it kept crawling out. So we figured we should do it, and pretty happy the way that turned out.
Nice. Well, we had a thought, if you guys are game for this, we wanted to see if we can go through each song track by track and just throw out a little nugget about each song, if you guys are game.
Sure.
All right. Well,
We're game for whatever you guys want. You're like you're our number one fan, so
all
we're
right.
on 1A.
So Stephen, we have to start off with you then with Angel Sister, which we know was supposed to be a Viva Saturn track, or was a Viva Saturn track at one point. Can you talk about Angel Sister?
Yeah. Well, that was a song that is a song that actually was recorded originally with Viva Saturn, a different version, slower and maybe not quite as good sound quality. But that's where the basic idea was formed, and we were considering whether or not to release that track or to re-record it, and then we couldn't find apparently the original master was lost, so we didn't have the quality high resolution recording to release. So kind of against my better judgment at the time, Matt and Jim and the
Jim and I
band.
bugged the shit out of him about it for about a month or so until he finally acquiesced, and then we did.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about re-recording it at all, but they convinced us to give it a try, and I'm really happy with the results. So it's a kind of a different take on it, a little bit more energetic, some different harmonies, because the Peterson sisters added their own melody lines for the background.
And the Moore brothers.
And the Moore brothers.
And me and you. There's a lot of vocals on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially the same song, of course, almost faithfully, but it has a slightly different feel, more energetic, I think.
Yeah, I thought the other version was cool. I liked it. We worked on that a lot a long time ago. I've since forgotten what we did, but I know we worked on it a lot, and we liked what we ended up with, but it wasn't really recorded on the best. It was like it's on an ADAT, just a little brittle.
Yeah, it was a sound quality thing, and not losing the original master.
Right. So we couldn't remix it or anything. So
we decided to do it again.
We got Jim here. We might as well do it, and I'm pretty happy the way.
Kind of inspired by Revolution. There's the slow version.
Yeah.
There's the
Nice.
Couple of things we didn't quite get that the other one has, but 99% of it is pretty faithful to that.
So, Stephen, what inspired you to write this song? Is anything in particular, either lyrically or musically?
Well, like I say, it's about a girl.
No,
it's about more. It's about more than that. It's kind of the imagery. It is kind of about a girl, but it's also kind of about City of Lights, City of Angels, and I often think of it in terms of sitting up on the hills, looking out over the city of LA, which we spent a lot of time doing when I was a kid, and later, and just imagining what people are doing down there. We used to go up in the hills and tell stories about what we'd imagine these millions of people are doing down in the city. It's just about the energy of the city and the lights of the city, which is a recurring theme in some Rain Parade songs.
Nice, I love that.
Got one of my favorite Stephen lines in there, and I don't even know what it means, but it sounds good. You make the blank serene. We didn't almost. The blank serene was almost a name for the record, but we thought it sounded a little too pretentious, so we didn't do it. But I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of LA, sort of the imagery of LA as as an angel. I mean, as I don't want to say LA woman, but I'll say it. It's kind of as a living entity.
Yeah, I love that. So, Soraya, up next, what do we have?
Last Rays of a Dying Sun. Sorry, I transposed the letters.
Yeah, so it's the title track, and it starts off and it kind of has a reminiscence of No Easy Way Down.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Things kind of fold over back on themselves. After hearing that the guy from My Bloody Valentine and the guy from Riot heard that stuff, like really liked it and wanted to use it. It was like, okay, yeah, all right. And then wanted to do it a little happier kind of thing. I got that going. Helene's did it for a while, but it really wasn't finished. I mean, we did it. That doesn't mean it was as it was now. And then, as always, whenever Stephen and I work together, by the time we're done, it's got our both of our fingerprints on it. And the second section was kind of really underdeveloped, and I knew I wanted to add a sitar, and then Stephen came up with this cool vocal approach, and changed a few things, and there you have it. Wicked guitar solo in the middle is Derek C. By the way, that's cool, and
Yeah,
we're
there's some
very happy.
phenomenal guitar.
I'm sorry, Stephen.
No, just complimenting the guitar work by both you and Derek. It's really
Yeah, John plays some sweet guitar too. He doesn't play lead so much as that sort of watery Leslie guitar that is his theme for this record, which he used quite a bit. Well, I was playing down at Jack Watterson's shop. Jack was playing drums and Derek was playing guitar, and I played that song. They're kind of like, okay, Derek, take a shot. He did, and I'm like, holy shit, okay, you're gonna do this. Yeah,
I really think the guitar work is on the next level, both in terms of the guitar lines and melody lines, and the sounds, and the combined sort of personalities of Matt and John and Derek. It's to me, it's just phenomenal.
It's an embarrassment of riches. I mean, we really. I mean, obviously, John and I have played together a long time, but throwing Derek into the mix, he ain't no slouch, man. He can play guitar.
No slouch at all. And a guest performer on this one, on tabla, right? Mina Makijani.
Yeah, Mina, it was the Peterson sisters' doctor, their parents' doctor, I believe. And when we did the 3x4, we saw that she had played. And the tabla isn't super loud there. Most of what you hear is this weird thing that Stefan played. I forgot what it's called. That weep weep stuff. It sounds like a tabla, and you can hear the tablas too. They're cool. It's made out of ceramic or something. It has, I don't know. Stefan's got like a bazillion percussion instruments. He's every bit as good a percussionist as a drummer. He plays a ton of. There's a ton of stuff on there. There's even there's this app that a sitar app that I found where you can punch in any key and it just goes or whatever, it like does a drone. And I sent that to Jim, and he actually used that too, although there's a real sitar as well. And then numerous Bobwaisms. Sorry, we call Jim Bobway. Numerous Jim Hillisms. I don't know where he gets them all. Some of it's synthesizers, some of it he gets out of effects processors. We were very happy with how that song turned out.
Yeah, it ends up that middle section ends up being this roiling blend of different percussion and different Easterny sounds. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's got a great vibe on that track for sure.
Jeff, can I add something here? So one of the things that I like to do is I like to read, especially fan reviews, because I always find something interesting in there. And both of you have hit on something that a lot of people have said about this album. And that is, there's so many different sounds. It sounds like so many different influences are coming together. And, it is that combination that people are really, the fans are saying it's something I wasn't expecting, but I absolutely bought into. And I think that's where this album is just so unique. There's so much going on and it all just comes together. It's like this beautiful symphony coming together, and it's everything all at once. I want to read you a little bit of a review. And this one fan said, I think calling this psychedelic music kind of narrows the audience that would really like this. Maybe in a Paisley Underground kind of way it is, but there's so many layers to this. Fans of 10cc, 2020, and even Graham Parsons, the Byrds kind of country music will really enjoy it. It starts with two amazing rock songs. Space Junk Falling from the Sky is the best line I've heard in a long while. that will pull you right in, but don't expect any rock and roll here. The song Dying Sun is psychedelic for sure, but a damn fine song it is. I'm a sucker for some Dylan blonde on blonde harmonica and pedal steel guitars too. This is perfect music for mellowing out on a rainy day, as their name attests. I think
Wow.
anyone you turn this on to will
Oh,
like it
nice.
too.
Did you write that, Stephen?
That's not a press release. I guess that's a real person. Wow, that's
That's very, very kind. We
very flattering. Yeah.
we always, you know, when we look at what we do, we kind of think in terms of three different, not really genres, but approaches. We really like the folky, low key approach. You know, that would have akin to, like, I guess maybe even like somebody like Mazzy Star or something like that, but or even like 70s songwriter stuff that's trippy.
Maybe acousticy oriented.
Right, like Share Your Love or Other
Mhm.
Side of You or something like that. And that's one thing. And then we always, I mean, obviously, as your shirt attests, Mr. Brenneman, the Birds, as my friend Billy Talbot said, did it all. And we like that kind of, you know, pop song that's got that 12 stringy kind of thing. And so we have that to, like,
With harmonies.
I don't know, like Bring You Back maybe, and possibly Sunday's Almost Gone.
Mhm.
And then, of course, we like the super trippy stuff, which is a few different things, but, you know, like Forgetfulness or Even Left the Fire or Last Rays. So we kind of try to have all of that going on, which is probably why we didn't do singles um, for this until it was done, because we kind of didn't want to put one thing out there and have it be just that. I don't want it to cover the whole gamut.
Yeah, I think it kind of shows all of our the different things we like. You know, all the different
Right.
types of sounds. But there is a there's a consistency between them. They're kind of
Mhm.
we really love kind of that vintage guitars, 12 strings and 6 strings and acoustics, and the way they kind of all come together is consistent. There's like a sound that's carried between the songs, even though the songwriting might be different, or even the style. Like one might be more rocking, the other might be more down. There's still different elements that sort of thread through all the songs.
Yeah, they definitely all tie together, I will say. And there's so much going on throughout the record that it definitely keeps me as a listener very interested and glued to my speakers, because there's so much is going on from song to song. But I think you make a good point, Stephen, in that there's definitely something that ties it all together. It's not like you're not listening to like a compilation where it's a bunch of different bands. It's definitely all Rain Parade for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Although,
mid tempo. There's a certain feel through it all too.
yeah,
No punk and no reggae,
no,
but everything else.
no, I don't
Not
expect.
that there's anything wrong with either of those things.
Although, yeah. All right, so next up, Couldn't Stand to Be Alone, which I think that you guys did something a little bit different with this one than you've done on any songs before, in my opinion. But
Okay.
and I like it. I like it.
What is that thing that is different? I'm not sure what you mean.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the vibe or what, but it has, to me, like a little bit more country than. It's not a country song by any means, but to me, it has more of a country feel than I've heard from a Rain Parade song.
Well, not to bore Soraya to tears, but you could sort of relate to this. If you take if you take the bigger strings off of 12 strings, so you only have the high ones, 6 strings, but they're all the high ones. That's called Nashville tuning, and that's kind of an old. It's an old trick that people use in Nashville to kind of fill out a guitar sound, give it like brightness without having so much going on like you would with a 12 string. So I did that to one of my guitars, and I liked it so much I had to go out and buy another one. it that way. That was at least that's what I told my wife. It was. And I started doing some finger picking way up high. And what's cool about it when you do that is that the middle, the G string is actually higher than the E string,
Oh,
right? Because on the 12 string, the G on a 12 string is the G that is above the E on a regular guitar. And so when you do that and you pick, if I played that song on a regular guitar, it wouldn't sound the same. And I like that. I think Hanley was over here. He showed up and I'm like, dude, turn on your tape recorder. I got to record this. And he did. And Thoman said that sounds like a music box. So he called it the music box song. And then that came pretty quickly. And then even though it's pretty sparse, we did kind of put a bunch of stuff on it. Mark is playing my harmonium. Steven is actually playing bass, but he's playing it on an acoustic guitar. It's not a bass guitar, even though it's a bass part.
oh,
You probably wouldn't know that it wasn't a bass right now.
It's a little different sound. I mean, it sounds more like a high. Well, not. It doesn't really sound like a bass. It's a bass part, but it's
right. But it's lighter.
yeah.
I did put a bass on it, but that's like soft and very simple and just on the bottom.
It's in a higher octave too.
I love what Derek played. I love what John played. Beautiful slide. Derek played this gorgeous, washy, watery thing.
is that a tremolo that he's using?
Yeah. He plays a lot of tremolo on this record. It's kind of turned me on to it now. Now we have new amps, and I use the tremolo a lot more, and it's probably because of him. That we didn't have them for this, but still, they're almost exclusively Fender amps. I guess Derek has an amp thing, but anyway,
This is
really
the one
like the way that came out.
we worked on in your backyard during the pandemic.
That's true. And Steve's at one end of my porch, and I'm at the other. And then it started raining.
In like July, was it July? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Really strange. Like
as usual. I mean, I had most of it, but Robes dove in and helped me make some of the words better. And I don't remember what else.
That was pretty much a Matt song. I have to.
Well, but
that was your inspiration.
He was my George Plimpton on that one, as he always is. And there you go. And Darian's on that one too. He sings. I think that's just him. He sings beautiful. The Oz or just beautiful. They're beautiful things.
So were you thinking of a band or a sound in particular when you wrote this song?
No, well, not so much. Jim says it sounds like Genesis, which bummed me out, but
Whoa.
Wait, but what era Genesis?
He means like Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. I saw those guys when I was a kid. I thought they were terrible. But
to me, it's more reminiscent of like Satanic Majesties. It's got a little bit of that.
It does have that sort of acoustic Stones thing going on,
Yeah.
but maybe a little sweeter. It was. I was sort of talking to a specific person, just about how people will put up with, utter baloney because they don't want to be alone. Anyway, that's that one. A lot going on. Like it. Jim did a great mix.
Awesome.
Does
So
Stefan play drums? Does he? He does play little drums and some percussion. I very, very limited drums, but some really cool stuff.
yeah, it's not heavy on the drums or percussion.
No, but like I said, I forgot about that one, but yeah, that falls in the sort of the trippy folk category.
Yeah, it's great in the third spot. I'm big on sequencing. I like where it falls in the sequencing.
This is Jim's sequence, I'm pretty sure, mostly. He did that. And I mean, I can't say that I don't know if you can hear this, but when I was a kid, right before FM radio started to hit, there was an AM radio, and they played a lot of this Bearport, Pentangle, Clothing Gray, that kind of stuff. And I just love that shit. And I don't know if you ever hear it in Rain Parade, but maybe a little bit of that is in there.
Makes sense to me.
Jeff, so I have the perfect quote because now we're going to get to track 4, side A, Bring You Back. And let me quote here another fan review. Bring You Back is touching, brilliant, and most of the songs here on the album are substantial, a rarity on releases these days, but touching and brilliant. This song is
Who are these people, man? I want to read this stuff.
it's your fans, man. They're speaking, they're
Where
talking.
did you get it? Anyways.
Believe it or not, these are Amazon reviews.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Well, there
There's
you go.
some pretty great ones there.
Cool.
Wow.
Well, thanks, man. Whoever.
Yeah, cheers. So, Jeff, let's talk about this brilliant and touching song, Bring You Back, which also has this great back and forth of the vocals. I mean, there's so much in this song. It's to really dissect it is, in just a couple of seconds is not good, but
Well, this is sort of my angel sister, if you will, in the sense that I didn't want to put it on there, but Steven kind of bugged me until I finally acquiesced to do it. He really championed it and got behind it, and thank you, because I like the way it turned out. It's a little poppy, but that's okay. And what you're talking about, Soraya, this is one of those songs that kind of, I mean, I had the guitar riff, which I swear I thought I stole from the Moore Brothers, and I'm like, did I steal this from them? They're like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, good. And then the middle section, the "Miss You So Much Now," that was a song that Steven had, a completely different song, and I can't remember what the rest of that other song was, but it's since been cannibalized. It's lying out in the backyard like a bunch of hillbillies, junky old cars,
I think it was just, I don't think it was in a completely separate song. I think it was just a complementary idea that was kind of inspired by the original sort of verse.
Well, anyway, I didn't have anything to do with that. Changed a couple chords here or there, maybe, but that's Steven. And one thing that we like doing and did probably more on this record than we ever had was sharing vocals. Like on Last Raise, Steven sings that middle section.
Yeah, that's what you're referring to, like the trade-off of the sections?
Yeah.
The one thing about the song, I'll just chime in and say, yes, this was a great guitar riff and hook that Matt had. And he's like, nah, this is just pop. This is just garbage. He was actually really, he wanted just to throw it away. But me, and I think others like John Thoman were strongly encouraged him not to give up on it. And Derek. So we continued developing it. And then that's, I think, what inspired that other section. But in working out the arrangement of this song, we wanted to, it was the original verse melody that was a little bit too poppy, we thought. So Matt came up with this entirely different new melody, which is also great. And it didn't quite work as the verse melody. So we ended up making it the melody that you return to after a break. So it just adds this sort of crescendo moment where you come back to this entirely unique and completely complementary melody that, to me, just makes a song.
Oh yeah. Right. That you laughed out loud and you let it show. Everybody said, but we made it. That's the pandemic. That's my little pandemic line.
Yeah, it was really, the lyrics were really of the time.
And
that came through the pandemic.
Because it was a little bit sing-songy, and we had two melodies, and we're like, oh man, what are we gonna do? So we used them both. We have a new song that we're kind of doing that on, and Steven sang one thing, and I sang something else, and we were kind of deciding which. Well, you'll hear it eventually, but which one to use. And I'm like, wait a second, dude, we can do them both at the same time. It works. So he does his shorter one, and I do a longer one. You guys will probably like that. I have a few. But on this song, yeah, that's the way that worked. And the Moore Brothers came in and just kicked its ass. Those guys were. If I was stinking rich, I would drag them along everywhere we went. They're just fantastic. Super nice guys too. And
I really love the Rain Parade songs where you're both sing songs, or you're both singing on a song where maybe Steven does the middle eight or what have you. I mean, not that you guys have that
on this one.
Yeah, I love those songs when you guys do those. Your voices are not necessarily complimentary because they're so different, but when they work side by side, it just really works for me.
It's a cool contrast, sort of.
Yeah, Absolutely, yeah.
Thing I really do like about this song is how there's a lot of stuff. It's not super cluttered though.
Mhm.
I mean, it's got. I mean, I play that original riff, and then Derek plays a thing off of it on electric 12 string, and then Thoman doesn't usually play acoustic guitar in this band. It's not that he can't, but that usually is going to be me or Derek or Steven. But John played some really nice, weird tuning, uh, acoustic guitar with a paper on. I don't know if you can hear it. It's not quite Nashville tuning, but it's really sweet and it fills out the guitar. There's not a lot of distorted guitar. Derek's been bugging me to play cleaner guitar, and I think I have been. Plus, it's got a baritone guitar on it, and then my favorite thing is the castanets that Honka plays. It's just he played all sorts
In
of
the
stuff.
break. Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, that's just so cool. Well, he's Colombian, so I guess he can, anyway.
That makes
So
sense.
yeah, I guess I finally like that song.
Now that you hear the review.
Yes,
Very nice. So next up, Got the Fear, which we've heard from the Demolition release that you guys put out many years ago. And this is a fantastic track, one of my favorites, and amazing to see the song live. Why bring back Got the Fear? Because it never had a proper release, so I'm guessing that's probably why. And it's an amazing song.
yeah, I mean,
It never had a proper recording. We
Right.
never actually recorded it. It was just that live track. Maybe there's a demo lost to time somewhere, but we always wanted to do an official recording, and this was our chance, so we went for it.
Thank you.
kind of gets away from us. Kind of gets away from us sometime live, and we get I remember Gavin from True West coming up to see us back in the day, and he's like, "Dude, you and Tillman, you sound like Led Zeppelin." And I mean, that's about as Led Zeppelin as we get. But for us, I mean, not that Led Zeppelin isn't cool. I like Led Zeppelin. We wanted to maybe turn up the Alice Cooper a little bit more, which is a little more twisted, like the Ballad of White Fry sort of thing.
And also,
Steven's really
it
adamant
needed some,
about.
it needed some softening too.
Yeah.
It was
Steven
too
wanted us
brash.
to emphasize the acoustic guitar of it a lot more because it always, I mean, we did it in Rain Parade way back in the day, obviously, but it never really had that. And he was pretty adamant about having that element in it so that it wasn't just like rock.
Yeah, so we
So
brought
I
in
think it makes it
some
sound-
softer acoustic, and the opening, the intro is kind of a swampy, I don't know what you call
and
that.
that riff is totally John. I mean that wow now. I mean he's always played that. And yeah, that has I think Derek plays acoustic on that, and then it's just me and John on electric. It's got a much more sort of not the song Funhouse, but like it's sort of scary clown, slightly stuck in a mental institution kind of thing going on.
Yeah, there's some darkness in there, a little bit of darkness for sure. I mean, it goes with the lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics are pretty crazy.
Voices in my shrunken head.
Right. Still don't know what self-destruct your claim to fame means. I thought that was you, but you said that was me. I don't know, remember where the hell this came from. That was one too that Jim really liked, and he that might be one of the only songs where part of the scratch track survived, like the very first time I sang it. One of the verses I think is just that. He said, "We're not changing this. This is great," because he likes us to do punkier stuff, and that's probably about his like it's not really punk, just this forceful vocally. But yeah, we like that song, obviously. And he also encouraged us to maybe not have it as cluttered. That was a Steven thing too. When we played it live, kind of guitar players, we can get carried away sometimes.
We reined it in a little bit. So suffice it to say.
And I think it serves the song well.
Yeah.
Punk obviously wails on it too. That Stefan plays great drums. And of course, I mean, the bass line is killer as always. Steven, kind of, we were losing that. The bass line that is.
That's kind of where the song was.
It's a very
built
good
on,
bass line.
that
And
melody.
when sorry, go ahead, Steven.
No, it's just saying it. It's kind of what the song was built on originally. It's like the that melody line.
That was what Steven came up with back in the day, and we were kind of losing it because there was too much guitar going on. So dialing back, I didn't really play as much as I used to. I'm just doing more like full chords. And I think I even used, I think, Eric's Jazz Master. I played a little bit of that too, even though I mean, this album has so many freaking guitars on it, Jeffrey, you would not believe.
I've seen pictures. I've seen photos. There's that photo that you guys took up above. I think.
Oh yeah, that's not all of them. That doesn't have John's guitars in there either. I mean, there's probably 20 different guitars on this record.
I love it.
Anyway, well, that's that song, which you guys know pretty well.
So Soraya, the next song is one of my favorites for sure on this.
And that's track 6, Share Your Love, which we've heard it live. We've heard it here on the album.
We actually heard it first live before.
Yes, we did.
That's true. When you guys came to Scotland and we all got COVID.
One of my favorite versions of that song is the one that you're actually in the video in Liverpool.
Oh,
That's
Jeffrey, I think it's taken from behind you, but
oh.
yeah. Yes, that was a good version.
Yeah.
So would you mind giving a little background as to the story of this song?
Sure.
Go ahead, Matt.
Well, this is another one of those deals where we took two different things and put them together. The finger picking. I like the finger pick. Do Travis picking. I don't know what that is, Jeffrey, but it's kind of alternating bass in trouble. I'll show you sometime. I learned, it's one of the first things I learned how to do back in the day, and I like it, and I was just kind of doing it. Then I heard this story about this guy in Oakland who, you know what, this is terrible. I should remember the guy's name. I can't. I should look it up and remember it. But anyway, he was a musician, and I heard some of his stuff, and it was pretty cool. And he had his whole life's work, his album on a laptop. He was in a cafe, and somebody grabbed it, and he freaked out and chased them.
Oh.
And they ran him over with their car on their way out. That was just so heartbreaking.
Oh my God.
He was killed running after his music, after his work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really sad.
Just awful story. And I don't quite remember the sequence of events here, whether Steven and I had already. Steven also had, I mean, Share Your Love, that's him. He had this other song. It's not quite the same.
But it was.
The chords are a little different.
No, that didn't exist before I heard your piece of music.
Oh,
So that was
okay.
completely
Well, there you go.
inspired by events of the time, and but this particular tragedy.
Yeah, and then our friend Bert's son was unfortunately killed while campaigning for Elizabeth Warren. So this would be like, when was Elizabeth Warren killed? That was before the last election.
About 8 years ago?
No, it wasn't that long ago, because he's not that old.
It was 2020.
Oh,
Yeah, 2020, right? And he was killed in Iowa.
Well, on campaign.
Really great kid. I knew him pretty well. He's a great kid, Zach Pressburg. And anyway, so that those two events really inspired us to polish this one up. I mean, it was kind of already going, but anyway, that's.
I'll just add in terms of inspiration for the Share Your Love part of it. And there was definitely this was kind of a pushing back on all the negativity and all the base sort of hate out there.
Yes.
just like
Because
let's
it is all that matters. George says
Yeah.
right.
just
All
want
you need is love, man. Or John, whoever those Peter guys.
And another great song where the two of you are singing separate parts that just work so well together and really make this piece elevated, in my opinion.
We started doing it. I mean, I sang it, and then, dude, maybe I should sing this verse, and you should sing that verse, and then we did that, and then we're like, wait a second, what if we just switch lines? And then we did that. So
Yeah, actually, what happened is remember you were recording the guitar part and I was singing a scratch vocal,
oh, okay.
and so some of the scratch vocal was kind of cool.
It was like, oh, that's right. It's like, well, who's gonna sing this? Because I thought I was, but then he sang it and it sounded great. So we both did. And there's this tends to happen with us. A couple of songs where we just got carried away and put a bunch of stuff on it, and when we were doing our demos, then we're like, nah, man, we gotta kind of go back to less. And then when we recorded it, I mean, I love the sound of those acoustic. That's just Derek and I finger picking at the same time. That's as good a acoustic sound as we've ever got. So Derek and I finger picked that together, and then I think Stefan just plays like the kick drum and the shaker, and Thoman plays that beautiful slide guitar. It's pretty funny when I told the bridge came last, so that the thing that has a harmonica on it, and I call up Steven like, dude, check this out. It's just so freaking Dylan. And I played him this harmonica part. He goes, oh, that's great. I told Thoman, he's like, fuck, that's where my slide goes, you know? I'm like, nah, John, you gotta not have it. And then what was funny is he ended up playing slide anyway, which wasn't what he originally played, and what I think he played afterwards was kind of even more beautiful. Just very, very plaintive and sad.
I call it the Doppler slide.
Doppler slide.
Because it sounds like it's kind of whizzing past you.
Yeah.
Mixed in with
Cowboy
it's kind of like
Bill kind of thing.
evocative, yeah, like evocative kind of being on the road, like
So we even
vehicles
had
going
it.
by.
We originally had it with the three, me, John and Stephen and I and Mark singing, and then it was just too much. So then once the Bangles had came in and sang, Bowman's in there too. He has a nice part that he threw in. So now it's kind of back to where it is. When we do live, we have three vocal parts. But that I guess has 5. Because you don't say no when the Peterson sisters are going to sing on your song.
No.
They were quite enthusiastic about that one. They seemed
Yeah,
to
and that really
like the vibe.
that was a perfect female touch for that. It kind of needed that distaff element.
They needed the Angelic Sisters.
They sure are. Yeah.
Good again.
They're great, man. I love those guys. They're great people. Anyway.
All right. So next we're gonna flip it over, right?
Yep.
So side B.
Oh,
Side
that's side A. You got boy. No, I'm kidding.
Side 2. Now we're on to side 2 now.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
And lead off track is Sunday's Almost Gone. And again, these beautiful harmonies and this harmony of sound in this and personally my favorite part besides the happy is the guitar freak out at the end. There's like all sorts of guitars and themes and sounds. That's my favorite, one of my favorite parts of this song.
Cool. Yeah.
It's just, it brings it to a different level for me.
We call that the Who part. Is that what you mean? Or the sort of?
It's really, yeah, it's kind of the Keith Moon, the drums and the
Love it all.
chiming guitars. And
Yeah. And you guys did a great version of this in Scotland in Glasgow.
Yep.
And it was the first song that you guys did. You came out with this one, and it was
that was the acoustic version of it though.
so good.
Electric guitar, but yeah, gosh, I don't know. We have too many songs for our set now. It's kind of a problem. But anyway,
I mean, the short story of this song is that we had this piece of music around for a long time. This goes back a while. And
I played that for you when we were on tour in England, if I'm not mistaken, because it was kind of Jesus and Mary Chain inspired, and it had
Oh, did you go back
I
that
played
far?
it really fuzzy. Yeah, I do remember playing it like very fuzzily, just the beginning part, just to see
Could,
the G.
could be, it kind of came back a few times, and
Yeah,
we had other lyrics, and we were just slowly developing it, not really focusing on it. But then for this album, we decided, yeah, this has all the elements, uh, and we actually just worked on developing the song and the lyrics to the point where it had a strong hook. The Sunday's Almost Gone. That basically didn't exist throughout the entire history of the song.
no, the line was in there in the beginning, uh,
That's right. But
but we didn't realize that was the name of the song until later because I pretty
yeah,
sure I came up with the first verse and then Steven, I don't remember exactly, but Steven wrote the next two, and I'm like, oh wow, those are good. We got to do this. And then
well, it was a piece of music looking for like its, for its identity, and
right,
that's some songs come out immediately and they're like, oh yeah, that completely works and it's complete. This was kind of the other way where you kind of build on something over time,
Mm.
and after a while the song kind of reveals what it's about, and you
Ah,
kind of
yeah, that keep me happy part of it. We didn't have that even when we recorded it. It was just instrumental, but Steven was really adamant that it needed something in it. I don't remember who did, but we came up with that. And then I said, Derek, that part really needs a 12 string. He goes, okay. So he came up with something. And I thought it was cool. And
then we developed the answering the answering
the birds
vocal
thing,
lines.
not birds. It's kind of like I don't know what it is. It's a little bit Revolver, a little bit Who. It's kind of like the end of that song, Look Both Ways.
But it
Uh,
also has the cool kind of Eno-y Ebo leads in there, which is kind of
Yeah.
that it's a bitch to do live, but I figured out how to do it. I got myself for $10. There's this little plate. It's like a tray that you can put on the mic stand because I couldn't figure out how to. The pick I can stick in my mouth, but then I can't throw the Ebo on the floor. But uh, it was going to be a 12 string riff, and Derek does play 12 string, but most of the riffs are just on my Gretsch, and then I played that little pickup in between the verses, and then I wanted to do an Ebo, so we did an Ebo, and it's got both. Seem
and
to
this is
recall,
just such a great melody line though that Matt came up with. And Matt, remember when we went back, I think you had come up with that line a couple of years ago. We had a version of On Tape from the last show we did before the pandemic, and we went into the studio and Matt starts playing that. He's like playing a totally different melody. I'm like, man, play your melody.
oh well, that tends to happen. I get lost. Even will bring me back to earth.
But it was just such a great melody line that I really like.
And then I don't know where the Who part came from, but that I think I like that touch. It takes it to another place, so that we do really have three solid sections there. I mean, the worst thing you can do as a songwriter is to add a bridge that doesn't sound as good as the last two parts. It's kind of like, why did you do that? It's kind of got to be as good or better. It's not worth it,
you got to have a good bridge.
Yep.
or not have one at all.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I remember you guys did a live show pre-pandemic, and when I saw the videos that were posted of some of these new songs, a lot of them had color titles. Um,
Hmm.
I think there was one that's purple, blue,
Sunday's Almost
green.
Gone was called Purple for 30 years until we changed.
Yeah, that's the version I was talking about. Was the version from, I think it was from Oakland in 2020,
Oh, okay, okay.
like a couple
Well,
days before the pandemic.
it
Yeah.
was Purple going to keep me happy, but that makes no freaking sense.
I-
So we changed it to My Mind's Going to Keep Me Happy. Not that it needs to make sense, but it's just, especially
Purple.
after having a song Green and then having a song Blue and then Purple, it's like, okay.
It was kind of like our color revolution.
The color Yellow by Coldplay. It's a
Well,
great song, by the way.
yeah, indeed. So that brings us to song 2 on side 2, which is Green. All right. So where did this one come from?
Mr. Piucci.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I started that. I think we were driving down the roads, and Stephanie said, like, "Sweetie, watch the signs," and I'm like, "Wait, right?" Like that got me rolling on some lyrics, and then I like the idea of that trees can make sugar from the air because that's what they do, and that's kind of a it's kind of a nursery rhyme. Weird. It's this weird sort of environmental nursery rhyme, if you will, but it's got slightly nastier edge to it. But original had that on guitar, but it started playing Wurlitzer sound on started playing it on Wurlitzer, and that just seemed to make it more different playing it on piano. So I barely play guitar on that song. I think I play one or two riffs. That's mostly John and Derek. Robes plays as usual, fabulous bass line, good drums too. And then the Moore brothers really filled it out with some well, not just them, but Mark Hanley and John Thoman, and then Stephen has that sort of contrapuntal part, that where it's, he's got it, colors you want. That's him. The colors you want, colors you need. And then
Then we
there's
started
the
developing
pause,
this kind of answer
and
vocal
it's sort
round
of
and
cascading thing. And I mean, I was a real bitch about it because people didn't want to do all of that stuff, but because of course less is more. I'm like, no, this is so cool. And I found a rehearsal tape where we had all that stuff going on at once, and it worked. So yeah, I really like that word. John and Mark and Moore brothers and Stephen and I all sing on that part.
Perhaps the secret ingredient to the song, though, is the soaring guitar solos.
Ain't me.
Which
That's
you
Thoman.
that was John, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I think that too, but
Yeah,
Well,
like there's one break where it's just a bar. He just does that fucking nasty, and he does it for longer a little bit later. And he's got a nice that super high answer on the chorus is his too. So yeah, he really played great on this. And now those na 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 na's at the end. That's his idea too. That was John.
Wow,
He's
good job.
John is
Cool.
he's quite a character, man. I mean, we
Yeah.
love him dearly. I've known him since I was 17 years old. He was the guitar hero playing with his teeth, and I was just in awe. And he still blows me away.
Yeah,
But,
he's great. We're fans. Soraya and I
yeah,
are fans of John.
he's great and too damn smart for his own good. But being in a band with him and Will too, my God. I mean, Stephen and I are pretty smart, but between Will and Thoman and Jesus, man. Overqualified for the job at hand, as Ethan James would say.
All right, Soraya, we got 2 Steven songs up next.
Woo! Forgetfulness is next. Talk to us a little bit about the origin of this.
That was an order by my wife for us to have another trippy song.
Yeah, actually, responded to a request.
And I when he played it, I'm like, oh my God, this is the lyrics are so good. And I'll never be able to say opium like Stephen. It's not in English. I don't know what freaking accent that is, dude. It's not a valley.
It's
not
Roback.
English.
It's Roback.
Purely Robackian.
Rebecca.
I'm sorry, it's your song. Talk about
Well,
it.
no, I was just gonna say this is one of those songs, like unlike Sunday's Almost Gone, that just kind of came all at once. I was playing this kind of bass line at kind of at the request of Matt's wife Stephanie, and
She didn't write it. She just told us we needed a trippy song.
a type of song.
Man.
And it just kind of all came out at once. It was raining. There had been a very I don't say violent, but pretty serious storm that was ending kind of like a thunderstorm. And the clouds were clearing from the bay, because out of our window here, I could see the San Francisco Bay.
Oh, wow.
And that kind of inspired that first line about see the sun as it hits the ground. Because I was literally watching the sun hitting the ground and exploding. And then I was thinking about sound, and it kind of just all came together. lyrically. And then it kind of took on this theme of forgetfulness, which to me was kind of like the blessing of being able to forget certain things. Of ignorance is bliss in a way, in reverse.
It'd be horrible if we remembered everything.
Yeah, it's just kind of thinking back on things and kind of how, well, I'm so glad that I don't feel as bad about those things as I once did. How you kind of get over it. And there's a little bit of like, maybe like in the word forgive, forget. It's a little bit about forgiveness too, kind of, but more about forgiving yourself and forgiving whatever person you had illusions about or had illusions about you. Kind of just forgetting the bad stuff and forgiving. So it's also kind of like, it's about kind of letting go. it's about
in other words, it's about Matt.
That's right, Jeffrey, as is everything. It worked out really great when we started playing. I mean, like Steven said, sometimes you got to really massage things. So like right from the get-go, I mean, I had this harmonic thing that I did, and then John did his little watery guitar thing, and then Derek did his like guitar, and it was open enough for all that stuff to fit together. Very, very cool. I didn't write very much at all on this song. It's mostly Steven. I did do what I tend to do sometimes. The second section, the chords are a little more weird than they were originally, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, well, definitely you helped work out the music on that, and the guitar interplay is really, really cool. The first time we played it, I showed it to Matt and John, and they started this conversation between their parts, which is still the main guitar part of the song. It's Matt on the harmonics and John responding with this kind of weird, liquidy guitar, and it's that conversation that goes on throughout the song that really makes it.
Fortunately, we recorded our rehearsals because it's like, Delman, now you're not playing. You played something else, man. He's like, yeah, I know. I have this other cool riff, and then we found it, and then he went back and we relearned it. I love what he plays. It's great. And I don't usually play slide. I mean, I do. I can. But John tends to play the slide, but this time I did. That was really fun too. I love this song. It's one of my favorite songs on the record.
And then Rob and Marcus are on this one too.
Oh,
and this is
tell that story. Never mind. Let's
this
just say
yes.
we tried doing the vocals. I won't say who was doing them. And Jim was kind of fed up with the way things were going for a number of reasons, and the individuals involved had good reasons for why they perhaps weren't spot on. And like they tried to do those ahs. Jim just turns and looks at me and he says like, spent like 10 seconds on him, and that was kind of the original inspiration for those guys in the Beach Boys would be great. Let's see if they'll do it. And the funny thing is, after it was all said and done and we were doing credits, Jim's like, those guys didn't sing on that song. I'm like, no, God damn it, Bob Way. You were the one who didn't like the way we did it, and we got them to do it. And he's like, oh, really? Okay. So, yes, that was Darian. It may just be Darian. I'm not sure. It might be Rob Bonfiglio as well. But they just, I mean, it was very flattering that those guys, particularly Darian, he gets what we do. He really liked it. That's so great when you can find people who get what you do, and you don't have to, it's much better to do that than try to talk people into doing things.
And who's the Frankfurter person?
Oh, Arya was in this sort of prog band. We teased Stefan about it. Called Azigza. They were actually pretty cool, but we called them Hobbits and Fairies because there was this review in one of the local papers about their band coming up, and the starting line is, okay, Hobbits and Fairies, come on down to You know, the guy, the guitar player wore like a robe, and you know, there's a lot of weird time signatures, and they had a sitar. Anyway, Arya is a very talented guy. Not to get too off the track, but that song "Water" of the Hellenes, all that cool, all of that string stuff is him.
Uh-huh.
And we wanted to use him again. He doesn't. He didn't. You can't hear it that much, but it's in there. What are we talking about? Forgetfulness? He's not on that.
It's credited as arranged by the book.
Mhm.
No, it's arranged. Well, we gave Darian credit for arrangement. That's more not for that song. That's more for Left the Fire, because he really did some different stuff. And that's Darian. That's
Okay.
not Arya. Arya plays strings on Other Side of You, and there's a little bit of that of cello in the in Left the Fire, which are the other two songs.
All right, Soraya, where are we on this album? We're getting
Well, now we're at we're at the second to last on the second side, which is the other side of you.
I love this song, and I love the sequence of the song being second to last. The penultimate song.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent use of the term.
Yes. Yeah.
And one of the things that I really like is how this song is bookended by the acoustic at both sides. It like starts and then ends, and or at least this is out, you know, I'm the dumb one here. And I don't know
Not at
know
all,
the
dear. Not at all.
technicalities, but it sounds acoustic. Am I right
Yes.
or wrong?
Yeah,
You are
that's
correct.
correct. It was the song was kind of written, which what you hear there, that acoustic guitar part, that was the song. And the vocal melody was built on that, and then brought it to Matt, and Matt helped develop the sort of the chorus section, and that the vocal choruses, and then there's that change, the Other Side of You change with the sort of soaring electric guitar that runs through the melody lines there. So again, it was like you know, real collaboration ultimately. But yeah, but the song itself was kind of built on that acoustic picked guitar part.
I love the imagery of the title. What was your thought process on the lyrics with this one?
So yeah, I think the only way to describe it is that it's kind of hard to describe, but I kind of it's kind of like what I wish. I don't know if I've said this to you before. Maybe we talked about it before, but it's kind of what I wish someone from who's no longer with us, from beyond, would say to me.
Wow.
Sort of like what I imagine something comforting and positive and you know, insightful, some being said to me, or me saying to somebody else from beyond to them, like, don't worry, it's going to be okay, you know, don't be sad, don't be scared, I'll see you, you know, over there.
I love that.
The pretty sure that's the only line I came up with was The Other Side of You. The rest is
Yeah, but
even
song title.
well, you know, that's. I mean,
Less-
we've been at it. It's long. I mean, every possible combination of who did what is done before. That was one where we also kind of. John had this a very cool electric thing for this song, and it was cool, and we had like, I don't know, there's like a 50-second, maybe 1 minute sort of electric intro thing that we had going on before it. And we're just, you know, after doing it that way for a while, we're just like, I don't know, man, we're kind of losing that innocent, open quality to it. So we ditched it. We actually, I think, did we actually record? I think we actually recorded it and got rid of it. If I'm not
I think we
mistaken.
did a demo with it. No, I mean, it started with the picking part, and then we developed this other part that was kind of like an electric interpretation of the picking part.
It's more grungy
And
guitars, and you know,
it just ended up being too heavy, and we went back to the original light picking part.
If it sounds like that approach is more in tune with the song lyrically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you
Yeah, it's a kind of an intimate
get it. So we
feeling.
figured
Yeah.
that out. Obviously, you figured it out more quickly than we did because we were doing this other thing for a while.
And John was okay with the part being scrapped.
Well, he still plays it, and that's actually another one where he doesn't he play acoustic guitar? That he does.
It is acoustic, yeah. I mean, we
Does
didn't use
play
that
acoustic.
particular electric part. But what was cool, I think, is with the way the dynamics of the song work. There's the verses, which is really low and intimate down, and then it kind of builds to this choral section, which is the chorus, where we start adding vocal harmonies, and that actually
Right.
that took some work to
It did. We
get over.
stripped that down too. We also started. So you think about songs, if you don't build it, if you don't layer it properly, you sometimes get to a point that should be the dynamic high point, and you're already there. So the only thing you can do is take stuff away from what's happening before, because we were doing that answer. We had a pretty. It gets to the part where it's a pretty complicated answering scheme of please don't be sad if you that John and I are answering Mark and Steven. Mark is singing with Steven there. It's low key, but it's there. And then John and I answer them at the end. But we took it out of the beginning too. We just, got out the scalpel and started cutting away some of the fat. We really got, that's a weird song too, is the only thing well, the way we had to do it was because for technical reasons, you would understand this, Jeffrey, that when you're playing acoustic guitar, unless you're Dylan and you're going to sing right there and right then and that's it, you can't really sit, at least we don't sing when we're playing acoustic guitar. And Steven has that beautiful finger picking part that he does. So Derek sang the scratch vocal. And then Steven went back and did it. And Derek never actually played anything on the song. But there's a little bit where this vocal gets stretched out and it kind of goes, ah. That's Derek. That's his contribution to the song. And then again,
Yeah, at the
plays
very end,
acoustic
you're
on
like,
that.
you.
I'm the only one who plays electric guitar. I'm pretty sure on that song. And that was my amp blew up. We had to go. Our buddies in the Asteroid Number 4, very cool band. Eric Harms loaned me his Blackface Super Reverb, so that worked fine. It's a little weird. I mean, we weren't quite sure that playing that riff underneath the chorus was going to work. I guess we just got used to it because you don't usually do that. Riff will answer someone's vocals when I'm going to find the other side of you, and it just does that. And then I also do the
There's some experimentation going on there. We were trying different things. Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether it's the right thing to do or not, but we got used to it. That's what it is. So there you go.
It works.
Okay.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah. All right, Soraya. Did we make it through the album yet?
No, one
Oh,
more.
there's one more.
Left the Fire.
So this is Matt. Matt, did you come up with a song?
Yeah, this is
It sounds like a Matt song to me.
this is really go for it, Matt.
It was over at the house and we were playing these acoustic guitar. He was there. He didn't really help me write it, but we liked that sort of full acoustic 12 string and 6 string at the same time kind of thing. Kind of got a lot of chords to it. It's almost got like a King Crimson thing to it. But this was another one I wasn't too sure about. But these guys convinced me we should use it. It's there's a few like apocalyptic themes in this record, and it's not really. I mean, we're not talking like biblical apocalypse. Just sort of personal, mythical apocalypse, whatever apocalypses.
Maybe transformations. Yeah.
Kind of. Actually, not 100% sure. But it does sort of feel like it's somebody who's witnessing the end of something, and there's a. It's kind of like the same goddess that is in um, Last Rays of a Dying Sun. There's a sort of a goddess thing going on, and I don't know. I guess it's sort of Greek, if you will, the goddess that gets killed, or the. But it does have a hopeful ending on it about going back home, and I don't know. I'm rambling, Steven. Save me here, please.
No, I mean, I think thematically it kind of ties up the album. You know, there's like message, kind of like this idea of sort of apocalypse, personal apocalypse. We're not writing about overarching, you know, end of the world themes. We're writing about the transformation and change in our own lives, and things we see going on around us. It's always been that way with Rain Parade. It's always been very much about you know, our personal experience, and trying to speak to people about it, share with them something that makes them they can relate to about their own experience in what we see.
There is and I've thought this before. I didn't just come up with this. There is a sort of science fiction element to it, which is very nerdy, but kind of like the Childhood's End 2001 kind of vibe. Um, Childhood's End is about the end of the world, which is probably my favorite sci-fi of all time. But it does have that hope at the end, and, you know, because it is pretty sure that whoever's talking is out in space, um, and just loss of uh, loss period, and how leaders, whether the Emperor Palatine or whomever, leaders can just ruin things. You know, people get it goes to their head, and you know, there is that sort of hero myth going on at the very end. But it was nice to have. I'm gonna stop talking.
It also has this, like, you know, idea of return, you know, where you talk about a life, you know, you come from come out as a kid, and, you know, these kind of things are very hopeful and optimistic, and then you have to live, and life is not always fun, you know. And I think we kind of believe in like the idea of finding or refinding that optimism. I mean, underneath it all, you know, like, if you want to survive in this world, you kind of have to keep that
Yeah,
feeling.
very much so, and it is somewhat about leaving home. I had a poem that sort of was sort of like this.
But it's not returning home too.
Yeah, well, and coming back, right?
Exactly, the
It's
prodigal.
leaving
So,
the fire and the ice, and, you know, this the burning wood is my neighborhood. That's not so much um, physical as kind of mental. The burning down of your own neighborhood, and then leaving, and then, you know, ultimately forgiveness and returning home. I think that's probably about as close to what it is. But you know what? It's whatever you think it is, because you're the one who's listening.
Well,
there's a lot of we're drawing on a lot of imagery there, but
yeah.
I think at the end it's kind of almost, I don't want to say like it's almost like theater, like I don't want to say opera, but it's kind of, it's definitely not musically opera.
Yeah, that's yeah,
But
absolutely.
it kind of draws on all this imagery, this sort of universal imagery of returning and leaving and change. And check out the lyrics.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's a bit pompous, but hopefully not too.
But there are some very cool vocal harmonies in there. It kind of
Yes,
comes to,
got some grandiose instrumentation, like very thick. It's got the whammy bar, Gretsch, and the thick 12 string and all that stuff. And Derek played some. He plays the acoustic. We also played some mellotron on there, which is mixed in with Aria's cello, and then of course John's slide. Stephen played some cool bass, and then what Darian did at the end was just beyond my wildest dreams. I really love the way he answered those vocals at the very end, and it is kind of a good way to take it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a great ending track, in my opinion.
Back to our star.
Back to our star.
Yep.
So there you go.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
That was
well done.
way too long. Sorry.
Yes.
It was
Thank you for indulging us.
Yeah, it's a fantastic album from start to finish, and it's definitely been worth the wait. And like we were talking about earlier, it goes through a lot from beginning to end, and it definitely holds my attention as a
That's
full
cool.
length. So fantastic. So it sounds like you guys are working on some new stuff before we
Yeah,
let
I
you
mean,
go. Any hints about what's happening?
Sure. Next year is going to be super, super busy. We are very lucky that we have found some insane people who believe in us um, and are very supportive of what we're trying to do. And they're helping us out a lot. We are going to be. I'm sorry, Jeffrey, we can't play the show next to your house. That's the one show we couldn't do because of people's work obligations, and also since we're not complaining, but this isn't our tour. It's kind of exactly what we needed. We can work on our set and do a shorter one and support another band who's super cool. Third Mind is great, by the way.
Fantastic.
I like them.
Yes.
And a couple of pals are in the band, Victor and really great guys, great musicians. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. Going up north, back to Mississippi Studios in Portland, which we love, and to the Crocodile in Seattle, which is very historical. Last time we played, we tried to play Seattle. Didn't work out so well, did it, Steven?
Oh yeah, that was. We don't need to talk about that.
Oh no, we played with the wipers, and we blew the power out. We just.
Oh, that.
So,
That was fun. Yeah,
oh,
that
what
was
do
a
you-
good play.
well, I'll ask you later what we're talking about. Oh wait, I do know what
And
we're
that's
talking
we
No,
got the band, the loudest band in the history of rock music.
about. Yeah.
Go
Anyway,
ahead. Anyway,
so we're gonna play up there. Then we'll be playing around the Bay Area, which will be great. And then we'll be down at Pappy and Harriet's, and we're gonna play the Troubadour, that's really historical, cool place. So that's going on. We are going to. We've sort of gotten all of our stuff back over our 40 years of working together, and we are sort of fighting the idea that we didn't do anything for 30 years. I mean, you guys know we had the Saturn thing and then the Hellenes, but we are moving forward with. I think you guys will really like this. We can't share all the details, but almost all of those things are going to be re-released, and at least one, possibly two of our works will be re-released with a bonus bunch of stuff. Probably both.
Yeah. We're reissuing the catalog with some,
Right. I mean, you guys already have Explosions.
rarities.
We probably will take the extra song off because it doesn't really fit, and that Sad Eyes Kill thing kind of goes more with the Crashing Dream stuff. So we'll probably do some kind of Crashing Dream Plus thing, and then I think the EP will come out. That might come out before anything else.
New
The
song.
way I see it, we could have as many as 5 releases next year.
Wow.
And then
Over the next year, maybe not
over the next
in the next calendar year, but
calendar
Yes.
year. Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the plan anyway. We will be. Jim is coming up, and Derek's coming up in a few weeks, and we're gonna really buckle down on our set, and then work on some of this new stuff we've been doing. And when we get back from tour, we'll hit the studio, and I hope we can do 3 songs. We'll see. We're not doing 13 at the same time.
no.
So we hope to release some kind of I don't know whether it'll be a 3-song single or EP or something before we go on tour to Europe. And we'll probably have a tour only CD, some live stuff maybe.
Something
We'll
like
come back from Europe, and hopefully we can start, working on whatever the hell the next record is. And I think Crashing
time.
will probably come in the fall. We got a lot of shit going.
Well, still in the planning stages, but
Yes.
working on a lot of stuff.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
We will. We will definitely.
Yeah, Europe is looking really good. We got a good booking agent. He's a good guy. We hooked up with. You guys met Simon, who's just amazing.
Is this the longest tour that you guys have ever played?
Oh no,
Uh,
No.
we did 30, 35 show tours in the U.S. back in the day, I think.
And we did about 25 shows in Europe.
Okay.
Yeah. Although he didn't have us like playing like with 2 days off and 17 days. Well, you're going to be playing in Belgium. No, you're going to be playing in Bristol, and then the next day in Spain. We're like, wait a second, man. We can't do that. But
Is anybody looking at a map while they're booking this?
well, look, he's.
I wonder.
They're trying to it's hard to make money on tour. You can't make money basically.
No, actually, this our booking agent has done a really good job.
He's a really good guy.
Yeah, he
that's what he's.
he definitely took into account our various geographic travel considerations to help us.
Yes, we're very lucky to have people who we're not entirely sure why. You guys among them who like what we do and are willing to support us. And that makes it
One of the greatest bands of all time, Rain Parade.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, it's very much appreciated.
That kind of stuff is what keeps us going in a lot of ways. It's very much appreciated. I'm not just sure we would be doing this if we didn't, when we emerged, 10 or so years ago, whatever it was, in the early 2010s. And we were literally stunned by the, and it's like, Jesus, people like this that much? Well, why didn't they tell us? I mean, we couldn't get arrested in LA back in the day. And we did okay in England, but I mean, we were just, it was so inspiring and rewarding and humbling to have people happy to see you.
Out of the bands that we've talked about, Rain Parade seems to be one of the more, if not the most beloved out of all. That's the response that we've gotten. Soraya, you have a quote that you have to share before we let these guys go.
Absolutely. So again, another fan says, I'm just gonna say it. If you liked what Rain Parade did in the past, get this album. You will not be disappointed. Sorry, Rolling Stones. This is what good music sounds like after years.
I don't mind that song that McCartney plays on. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, fortunately, we don't have quite as many years, but
Right.
you know.
Yes, AARP will not be sponsoring the tour.
They're not sponsoring the tour.
I do get letters from them.
That's a very, very, very cool quote.
Someone is calling me from Mexico. I don't think I'm going to answer that.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, it's greatly appreciated that people still dig it, and I think we still got, we still got some miles left on us.
Heck yeah.
We don't move quite as slow, but well, I'm glad you guys like that. We were happy to hear that too. One of our old supporters, this guy Jim DeRogatis and Greg Cott, they were very nice. They go, well, we were kind of nervous. It's kind of holding my breath when I heard this, but it's hell, man, it's not bad. So I mean that makes us feel good. So
it's fantastic.
And our plan, as always, Jeffrey, we're never going to get $10 out of 50,000 people. So as long as we can get like 100 out of you, we're it's probably more than that. I'm teasing. I mean, it's really quality is much more important than quantity.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely.
We love your podcast, your show too, and so it's an honor to be here. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
I like your band too. Your band's cool.
Oh,
yeah.
So
thank you.
Your album right here somewhere.
Thank you.
Anyway, it's close.
All right, you guys.
All right.
We'll stay in touch,
Thank
and
you.
I presume we'll be seeing you in January somewhere.
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
I'm hoping to go to the Pappy and Harriet's show. I love that venue.
Oh, cool.
It's not great to watch bands, but it's just a great vibe that place
They
has.
have killer barbecue too. If it's the
Oh
same.
yes, great iced tea too.
Nice.
Cool. We'll see you there. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see you guys there.
Somewhere else.
Thank you
All
for
right,
taking so much time with us.
No
Sure.
problem.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
All
Take
right.
care.
Love you madly. Talk to you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Love you back. All right, Soraya. What do we think of Matt and Steven?
Okay, well, I mean, people already know. How many times have we had them on individually together? It's a lot.
Yeah.
And we have nothing but love, respect, and Matt just said, "Love you madly." We love him, man. We love them madly. We love the band madly too.
Absolutely.
But
Collectively and individually.
totally, absolutely. Jeff, here are some takeaways from this. It seems like Rain Parade is just getting started.
Yeah.
And I like how Matt said we can't talk too much about it, but then he dropped these nuggets. I mean, you and I have hoped for a re-release of Crashing Dream.
Yes.
But I think that was one of the first episodes we did. Well, not one of the first, but
Earlier ones. Yeah.
early episode with them where we talked about how much we loved Crashing Dream. And I'm trying to remember exactly. I just remember that they were together. If I'm correct, they were recording together and
With Thoman, the three of them.
yeah, and they Matt just kept saying, "We're not entirely," or something to the effect of, "We're not entirely sure why you love this one so much," and it's because of the story behind it. It's one of those albums that they wished had been treated or recorded differently, but that makes me so happy. But also an EP, possibly a live CD, and they're going to start working on the next LP. But this idea of some re-released albums with 1 or 2 bonus tracks, man.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, this album, Jeff and I really liked it. We liked it when we heard the new songs on tour.
Yes. And
when we went through the EP that we bought at the show.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know. Did you buy it in England and I bought it in Scotland? Or
yes.
Or maybe we bought them at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we really liked those tracks. And then when we heard the whole album, I mean, it's one of those albums that I play pretty often.
Same.
It's on my heavy rotation list.
Yeah, for sure.
And like actually this week, the song I keep pressing replay on is Left the Fire. So I like listening to that discussion about Left the Fire.
Yeah.
It depends on it, Jeff. It depends on the day, because I've gone through all different ones where I'm like, oh, I want to hear that again.
Yeah.
And the one thing I wish, but those things are so passe now, I wish I had a lyric sheet.
Yeah.
Because I replay a lot of songs to make sure I got the lyric right, that I heard it right. But what a great album. And I absolutely love hearing them talk about all the different influences and just so many different instruments. Like I really, when the three of you talk shop, I really feel like, I'm trying to catch up, but what impresses me so much is so many different instruments, so many different sounds. And, when I listen, I take notes the first time. And I thought on Other Side of You, wait, that on other, was it? No, sorry. On Left the Fire, I thought the sound was coming from like a pedal. And then Matt said it was a wah-wah pen. It was a wah-wah bar, a whammy bar.
Oh.
Is that what I wrote down? And so, yeah, I think that was it. And I go, oh, that makes sense. Like I just, I'm of the floor. I'm definitely, I'm bottom of the barrel and still learning.
Not a musician.
But it's the idea of so many different sounds. And I liked hearing how a lot of the songs went through just evolutions.
Yeah.
In sound and intensity, and who would have thought, Jeff? This was, I made a note to myself. Who would have thought? Because we have talked often about Rain Parade and the layering of sound and just kind of their, they really experiment with the sound. Who would have thought we'd be talking about Rain Parade and scarcity of sound, or like kind of dressing it down.
Yeah. Cutting
That to me
cutting
was
back.
wild.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I've worked on songs, I'm not good at that part, like cutting back.
Mm,
Uh, but I've worked with some people who are really good at that, and I can't do that at all. I don't know how people cut stuff out. I want to just keep layering and adding to it.
right.
But yeah, the way that the way that he talked about it, that actually shocked me and caught me a little bit off guard that they actually approached a couple of the songs like that, and it makes sense. I mean, we hear the final part of it, and that was cool. That was some cool insight for me as a songwriter.
Yeah. And then what did Matt say? It was over 13 different guitars,
Yeah, no, I think even more, like
more
20.
than that.
Yeah, I think you said like 20. There's a picture and there's of them.
Right. I
And
remember that.
yeah, and I think Matt's in the middle, and there's just all these guitars, electric and acoustic, 12 strings, all kinds of his Gretsch and
But
Jazz
also,
Masters and SGs, all kinds of stuff.
he mentioned castanets. And
Yes.
I'm thinking, and I said, I got to go back and listen to that because I need to hear that one more time.
Yeah.
And I said, wait, what?
And no one,
Castanets on Bring You Back.
yeah. And with Stefan's heritage, that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
I think.
and Look, there are some interesting sounds, and also just vocally, Darian Sahanaja, Rob Monfiglio, uh, Vicky and Debbie Peterson, and then the Moore brothers.
Those
I
guys
mean,
are fantastic when you hear their voices together.
but again, Jeff, what are the things that I absolutely love in a song is like killer harmonies, and then
Yeah.
you bring these people in on different tracks, adding a dimension to that, and you hear these beautiful harmonies, and it's really this beautiful symphony of sound that you hear on these tracks. And so I think that's why this album is just so different. It's unique. But what was it that Steven said? It was the pandemic was good and bad.
Yeah.
Good because they had time to really kind of play with or explore where these songs had to go, and to know that there were 13 songs. I mean, obviously we're going to get those two somewhere.
Yeah. Well, we did
So,
get one of those on the tour
yeah,
EP. So yeah. So I think there's one track that we haven't.
just one that I think we haven't heard, probably.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I'm sure
Mhm.
they'll probably release even that one, some official release other than just the tour CD. I would imagine. Who knows? But
Look, and we got some new things on this album that I think we haven't heard on previous Rain Parade albums, and I think that's
yep,
it's just part of evolution of time, and
yep,
where they were creatively and artistically for this album. And you and I can't talk enough about how we like Matt's vocals and Steven's vocals, and then when they're both on the same track, it's just fun.
yeah, I love that
It's
too. Yeah,
really such a sweet sound.
yeah. And you described this album as being something that's um fresh. Yeah, it's still Rain Parade. I mean, it's still 100% Rain Parade. It's not rehashing the old Rain Parade by any means, but there's some callbacks here and there. The guitar for the title track did remind me a little bit of No Easy Way Down, the way that he's playing, but then it just diverts. You think, oh, and then whoa, like no, this is not all old Rain Parade. This is um these guys hitting some new territory, yet still being true to themselves. So fantastic
Like,
album.
just a lot of good music on this album. And if you don't have it already, if you haven't listened to it already, and the band was really good about providing access to it. I think on YouTube the whole album was there while the album was being shipped out. I mean, listen to it.
Yes.
And a lot of the reviews that I've read by fans have said, like, Yeah, I listened to it a few times in, and then I was like hooked.
Yep.
But it was like, it's one of those things where people said, it's not exactly that I could listen to it one time. Like, you needed a couple of listens.
I agree.
Look, this is a solid album, and I can only imagine what else is in the cooker.
We're here for it.
Damn. So good. They were so generous with their time, and I love hearing all these stories.
Me too.
And yes, I even love all the technical stuff because I learned. This is how I learned. So
Yeah.
I'll never pick up an instrument, but I'll know. I'll know the difference of things. But oh my gosh, Jeff, I think we need to end it.
All right.
I hate it, but we gotta end it.
All
So
right.
mi gente, agrubiar.
Grew on, Paisley people.
Okay, got it. I can prompt you too.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Yeah, because I want to bring you back.
Nice.
I see what you did there, Jeff. I get this from my mom. I can't help it. It just my mom raised us with these silly things.
Okay.
All right.
That's still Osaka.
Okay.